All right, Salakia. The video had cut off. You know how it is when you doing these videos. Spiritual demon Satan don't be liking when you exposing the darkness. So, he had to cut the video. So, Salakia for that. This will be a part 2 to where I left off at. Going into the book of Ecclesiastes 26 and 25, where I left off. It said a shameless woman, right? And a lot of these women in America, aka Babylon the Great, are very shameless. They basically do things without thinking of it. They just do it and thinking that it's supposed to be accepted, you know? And it's oftentimes wicked, right? So I'm finished reading, shall be counted as a dog. And we know what a female dog is, right? But she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord. Going back into what I left off at with the elect lady. They're not going to be operating in these type of characteristics. They're not going to be behaving in these certain manners that they know is against Yahweh Shem Yahushua, against the way and the rules of which a real woman of the Lord should conduct herself, right? So let me get another precept. And I think I did get that one earlier, but I'm going to get it again. So bear with me, Salakia. Then we're going to get into the video. All right, this is Ecclesiastes 25 and 19. And it says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Letting you know that sin began with the woman, man. And these women out here are wicked, very wicked. This is the average 2/3 woman here in America. They're very wicked. They do very vile and things that are not pleasing unto the Lord, man. And they don't see anything wrong with it. Going back into what I read in Ecclesiastes 25, I believe, or 26 and 25, they're shameless. They don't feel bad about the things they do. They rebel against man. They talk crazy. They want to be like the man. They're all masculine. And they don't see nothing wrong with what they do, man. It's normal in this society, right? But, the Lord ultimately about to destroy all that. So we're going to get into this video so we can, watch a little bit of it just to see, what this woman was doing. But, hey, this is the times we're living in, man. These people are sick out here, man. So with that being said, I'm going to get into this video, And before we watch it, I'm going to say that this is under the 1976 Copyright Act. I'm not being paid for this video. It's all for educational purposes only. I'm not monetizing or making any money off this video. So fair use, fair use. We're going to get into it and see, basically what they're talking about.
That's Logan Gaminsky being taken to jail after she was charged with posting a video on Instagram that showed her having sexual activity with her dog. I look at the disturbing case out of Florida. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Logan Gaminsky is in the Marion County Jail in Florida after detectives say they got a tip that she was making videos involving her dog and posting them on Instagram. Marion County is south of Gainesville and north of Orlando. An incident report says that the detectives received a tip back on January 28th that Logan Gaminsky posted a video on her Instagram account that showed her encouraging this dog to do things that I'm not really going to go into detail about. It's kind of gross. Actually, it's very gross. If you look at Gaminsky's Instagram account, she posts videos and photos of herself. But this video was cause for concern since someone turned it over to the sheriff's office. Detectives said the video in question didn't show Gaminsky's face, but the incident report stated the video also shows a possible belly button piercing on the white female, which in several photographs on the defendant's Instagram page, you can
you seen what they said. She was a so-called Caucasian woman. So that's normal for them, man. These people are heathens, man. The heathen, they don't, the laws wasn't given to them. It was given to the Lord's people, the Israelites, right? So-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and the speckled birds that may look like these heathen nations. They operate with the laws and operate in those ways, that's not in the ways of these heathens. Because these heathens, they don't have any morals, man. Everything that they do is wicked, man. She don't feel ashamed for what it is she did, man. That's sick, man, But I'm going to go into I'm going to get one more precept and then I probably end this video, But yeah, this is the times we're living in, man, Oh, yeah, the water, but shouldn't have a shot. I'm going to get that precept in second edges. And this is what happens when you have a society that's being overran with wickedness, man. You get things like this happening. You know, you get the people, the men and the women conducting themselves in these manners, you know. I'm going to read this. Bear with me, Salakia. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 14, verse 16. And he said, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. Right? And we're living in those times where people are indulging themselves in greater evils, man. Well, greater evils are happening. You know, like I said, look at what this woman did. You know, she was basically having, doing what she was doing with a dog, man. You know, had the nerve, to upload it on basically online, letting you know that she didn't have no shame about it. She didn't feel guilty or bad about it because she wouldn't have done it. But these are the times we're living in, letting you know that these people out here are sick, man. Very sick. Right. And this is 2nd Esdras 14, verse 17, the next verse. And it says, for look how much the world, right, meaning the eon and age, that word world goes into eon, which is the age of Esau Edom, the so-called white man that is ruling and governing this world and wickedness, right? And it says, shall be weaker through age. So much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. And these are evils, man. People doing these type of activities with dogs and things of that nature, not feeling any shame about it. That's very sick, man. But this is what happens when you have the wicked ruling the earth, man. That people behave in manners like this and think is acceptable and is okay, man. But that's pretty much everything I want to say to say in today's video. Lord's will, it was edifying. Till the next time, say shalom.